going into DevOps fully and give myself like 6 months or more than that. That okay, for this next 6 months, I want to go into DevOps for the next 1 year. And at the end of the day, I was able to make it. I can do a lot of things they are doing as a DevOps engineer. I can monitor the service. I can deploy. A lot of things that is going on. I can do them. Is there a way I can contribute to open source? And what is the best way you can suggest for us to contribute to open source in that regard?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. So I think the DevOps open source is always a very good thing, a very good thing. So in fact, I think when I was interviewing for Zapier, they actually picked up on my open source activity, and it was quite impressive because it was related to some of the things that they were doing within the company. So yeah, open source is a really good thing. As a DevOps engineer, don't sleep on it as well. One major way is to contribute to open source as a DevOps engineer is okay. I think from my experience, it's true. Things like Terraform modules. So Terraform modules practically they are modules that help people bootstrap infrastructures. Let's say on your AWS, on GCP, on Azure, or whatever cloud platform. So if you have experience working with, let me not say if you have experience, but if you've worked with them and you see that some things could be better, one good way to do this is to go to the popular Terraform modules and make contributions. You can write out your own private Terraform modules to help you do stuff, and that's one popular way to build your open source resume as a DevOps engineer. The same thing as good as Terraform. So just as Terraform modules are, there are also Ansible roles. If you are into Ansible as a DevOps engineer, you can also make open source contributions in Ansible, write your own Ansible roles or contribute existing ones. And if you are really, really solid and you know your onions, you can contribute to some of these big open source projects. There are a lot of open source projects on what's it called, on GitHub. Kubernetes is an open source project. If you can contribute to Kubernetes. Argo CD, depending on what you want to contribute to, depending on the tool you are learning. Terraform is an open source project. Or most of this, they're open source projects. So you can actually contribute to them. And don't shy away from writing your own open source tools. There was a tool I wrote one time. Even though I didn't finish it, the tool was just practically supposed to help me clean up my AWS resources. I was trying to write it in Go. So the thing is, I didn't even finish it, but it gained recognition while I was interviewing for my role. They were like, wow, that's quite ingenious for you to write this. And even though it didn't work, even though I didn't finish it to the end, we had a conversation around the approaches I would have taken and all the thing. And it really it would put you a bit higher than if you didn't have anything on open source. So contribute to this thing. And as I said, as a DevOps engineer, your primary role is to automate things. Look for how to automate things. So if you see that you can automate any of your process in your local system, write a tool for that, and don't shy away. Just post it on GitHub. You might never know what will happen.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for that. For letting us know that okay, if you go into DevOps, we can definitely contribute to open source. People will be like, I just want to be an open source contributor. Let me just remain a developer. I don't want to go to operation part. So basically, if you go to operation, there are a lot of resources there you can contribute to. Like recently, Kubernetes team just released a form for people that want to join the team to do testing, to put out comments, to just give feedback on the system, basically. So if you're interested, you can try that one out. I think the cohort just closed. They just announced. On a side note, I applied, it did not pick me, but then we still continue contributing, and as we progress, contributing to open source out there, they will definitely give us what we need, and we can talk about it anywhere. That imagine saying I'm an open source contributor and I've contributed to Kubernetes. People will listen to you to say, okay, it's like you know what you are doing. Probably you are being interviewed for a particular job, or you are giving a talk outside there. Definitely people will know that you really know what you are doing.